okay for you. So, all right, streamers, welcome to the show, guys. You know the drill. We're no longer live out of the Boss Hog Radio Network, which means fewer commercials for you guys. So, should be a good show. We got the captain on today, so and we're gonna be talking about some really important new stuff as well. And today is a pretty important election going on. I hear that, Brett. You know?
Yeah, New York.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
stay tuned.
elect a commie for mommy.
Mm-hmm.
Those people don't know what they're. I don't know if he's going to win or not. Nobody really knows. I certainly don't. But if that guy gets elected, they're in a world of hurt.
Are you going to have much sympathy for them in the future?
No, I don't have
If
any
they vote
sympathy
this
for
guy
them
in
now.
office?
I don't even have any sympathy at all. They keep voting for the socialist, the one that wants to give away money to everybody that's not supposed to be there, so they get what they deserve. I just think, and I believe this is the case, if he does get elected, you're going to hear a giant sucking sound from all the rich people leaving New York City. But it's amazing. Rich people typically vote Democrat, which is the weirdest thing, because the Democrats want to take their money.
Yeah, and they want to control everything.
I don't
understand
it. I don't understand it. But you think a business person in the business of making a profit would want to keep as much profit as he can and give away what he wants to, versus having 50% or more of it seized by the government.
Yeah, another thing I like about the Republicans is that they respect people that are risk takers and that make money. So you've got some people in life that are jealous and they just think, hey, that guy's got a lot of money. He needs to spread the wealth. I want to get it, and I don't want to have to do a thing to freaking earn it, right? And then you got people like us that say, you know what? We realize that there's always going to be someone bigger, better, stronger, better looking, have more money, richer, successful, whatever. But those guys, the guys that are in the rich success category, have normally taken a lot more risk.
Yeah, they have, and they failed before too.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that because they were willing to do what I was not willing to do, and I'm still not willing to do, and God bless them. I've maybe slept a lot better at night, and but I've got less to show for it, except for the peace of mind that I have. But
the only thing standing between me and being wealthy is me.
And Mary Lou.
And Mary Lou, but she's used to living in a lifestyle to which she's accustomed. I think she's probably listening.
And all those kids,
all the kids, yeah.
She's blame Laura.
She's off getting her every 2-month injection for medical issues. So I told her to listen up.
Oh, okay, good. Well, hopefully she is. So we got Betty Dunn on there, and she said she knew there was something that she liked about us too. So
what's not to like, Betty?
Oh,
Mary Lou was there.
Oh, Mary Lou is watching. Wow. Well, you could have told me that a little earlier, Brett. At least I didn't let everything out.
I just got done.
Out of the bag. Yeah. So, but yeah. So I have a lot of respect. So it's these guys. The Dems. They want that tax base. They want to overly tax the guys that are the risk takers.
Yeah.
And it reaches the point of where you lose the incentive to make the extra money. I mean, have you in our lives, Brett? I know I have, and maybe you have too. I know that there are times when I reach the point to where now I realize I'm going to be paying a lot more money because I'm going over a certain threshold. And, I had to think about how motivated I was to do what I wanted to do because, when you're making less money, it takes a lot of the incentive out of doing it, Yep.
Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, come on, computer.
We got about 2.5 minutes.
Ronald Reagan said, if it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. If it stops moving, subsidize it.
That's Reagan?
Government's view of the world. That's government's view of the world.
Government. Okay.
Yep. If it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. If it stops moving, subsidize it.
So people that are watching the show, Brett and I are going to SHOT Show coming up, and I cannot wait. So that's going to be a good trip. That's going to be SHOT Show is technically January the 20th through the 23rd. Brett and I are going to get there on the 18th. We're going to get there a little early. And
because Monday they have the we can go out the range and watch all the guns shoot, and as people with press passes, we might be at the front of the line.
Oh, you think? Yeah.
Well, sure. They want, I'm going to have my GoPro camera with me with all the bells and whistles hanging off of it, interviewing people with their new products, and
nice.
So that might be good.
So yeah, I can't wait. So anyhow, that should be good. So guys, hook up with us. I think we're talking about doing a little promotion between the glove and us and the Wounded Blue. So we'll see if we can make that happen, and we'll be making some announcements. So if
Let's
people
see if the makers of the glove will get with the leader of the Wounded Blue and see if they can give him a little more
cauterize that wound.
Yeah. See if he'll fall to the ground.
There you go. Yeah, we got some ideas. So it should be good. So
Yeah, I'm touch me with it.
Yeah, well, don't worry. You're not. That's not the plan. So, but I'm going to take the ride
because Mary Lou's next husband may not appreciate all that.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to avoid taking the ride on the trip with MVS. You know, all the trash talking he's doing over there at Rumble about me getting the freaking glove and stuff. It's probably going to have to happen. So
I'll admit I'm not going to ever have it done to me. I have, I was
voluntarily.
Yeah.
Dude, if you and I are sleeping in the same room and I get access to that freaking glove, dude, it's going to happen.
If I get access to my pistol, it's going to happen.
That's why I'm glad we don't travel armed. Mm-hmm. All right, except the California. 8 seconds out, guys. We're going satellite radio. Put your seatbelts on. Here we go. All right, guys, and welcome to Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com. My name is Chip DeBlock, and I'm your host, and we're a group of law enforcement professionals that talk about today's news and issues, but we do it from a law enforcement perspective. And yes, you recognize him. We've got Captain Brett Bartlett on the show. Captain Brett Bartlett retired from the Tampa Police Department with 32 years of exemplary law enforcement experience, and he's the founder of the what is it? The Exumber Defense Solutions at exumberdefense.com. I think we nailed that right. So yeah. So Brett, thanks very much for being back on the show. And Brett and I were partners, worked many years together, and we've seen a lot together too. And there's some things we just cannot unsee, Brett. I think that's fairly safe.
And there's some things people wouldn't believe if we told the story.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
A shout out to today wouldn't understand it.
True. Hey, you still you still teach, and you teach at the at a college, and sometimes you tell your story, or I've been there and told a story, and we had trouble getting people to believe us. So yeah. So a shout out to our sponsors. Our title sponsor is Gulls at Gulls.com, ComplyTechnologies.com, our satellite sponsor. We have Gunlearn.com, MyMedicare.life, SafeguardRecruiting.com, our streaming sponsor. And thanks to them, we're streaming to over 1 million followers right now on social media during the live show. And finally, TwoBells.com. They built a new online store at LeoRoundtable.com. Go to our website, check out the online store. You can buy cool gear like the shirt that I'm wearing, and the prices are rock bottom. I spend what you guys spend. We don't make a dime off of anything in the store. We're just trying to get our gear out there. So please check that out. Also, a shout out to Brian Burns for the Tampa Free Press at TampaFP.com. Thanks for carrying our content, Brian. Ray Diedrich, former lawman.com, and Travis Sheets with lawofficer.com. Thanks to all those entities for helping make this show happen. What in the world are we talking about today, Brett? Let's see. We whet the appetite here. Hey, one of our favorites, our friend Pam Bondi could arrest Judge Boasberg. I tell you, I hate that name, Judge Boasberg. I loathe that name. And but now the article says that she could actually arrest this guy immediately for these 3 things by Mike Benn. So we're going to be covering that. I can't wait to get into that. We've also got a roommate feud boils over. Literally, a Florida man uses what in a pan? Hot grease as a weapon in an eviction threat. We're talking about all these things going on with pots of boiling water, potash, and we just have an officer that's being evicted for second-degree murder because he protected himself when a black female was going to throw a pot of boiling water on him. And we've got this hot grease. And listen what happened to this guy. See if you'd want this to happen to you when you hear the details. Then we've got another one. Dash cam shows a skateboarder being struck and killed by an LAPD vehicle. We got a Hillsborough County deputy. He shoots a dude wearing a motorcycle helmet in the head, but the dude was holding a child hostage. And we got 20 Mississippi officers indicted for allegedly helping Mexican drug cartels. Are you serious? And then Fresno police, and you never know what you're going to get in Fresno, California, but they released footage of an officer striking an armed suspect with a patrol car. And if that's not enough, special request from Brett Bartlett here, 28-year-old man shot and killed by NYPD officers after refusing to drop a loaded gun. So there you go. We'll get to these, assuming that we have time to get to them. Our first one, RVM News, which stands for Red Voice Media News.com. Pam Bondi could arrest Judge Boasberg immediately for these three things, according to Mike Benz. So just to bring everybody up to speed, we have two Republican senators that have now accused special counsel Jack Smith and U.S. District Court Chief Judge, actually, James Boasberg, of authorizing an unlawful surveillance operation that targeted elected officials. It's known as Operation Arctic Frost, and it's considered a scandal. Most of us who don't have our heads buried in the sand are familiar with this operation, but there's been some new information. So when we last talked about it, AT&T was brought into the mix. We found out that they took all the stuff into AT&T, and there were, a lot of people upset. But AT&T did the right thing and did not release. They refused to release the information because even they knew it was a constitutional violation. Listen to the new news. So the allegation service has afterwards revealed that the DOJ secretly subpoenaed the phone records of at least 10 Republican senators, including Lindsey Graham of South Carolina and Ted Cruz of Texas. Both the senators confirmed that their official and their campaign phone data, that it was actually obtained through sealed court orders signed by Judge Boasberg, who also imposed a gag order so they wouldn't find out for at least a year. And so when I read this, yesterday, and it says that their phone data was released, I said, well, it wasn't. AT&T refused to turn it over. Then I kept reading. The subpoenas, and there was an S at the end of that, so there's more than one subpoena, were issued to multiple telecommunications companies in addition to AT&T, including Verizon, as part of a special counsel or Jack Smith investigation into political communications related to the 2020 election and also the early stages of the 2024 campaign. Senator Graham released a statement on X, formerly Twitter, criticizing both special counsel Smith and the Judge Boasberg for what he described as a serious constitutional violation. He said, "It is now clear that my official and campaign phone records were subpoenaed by special counsel Jack Smith." I would be upset too. Worse, a judicial gag order was issued prohibiting me from being informed of the subpoena for at least a year because Judge Boasberg believed that if I was informed, it would lead to witness tampering and destruction of evidence. That is legal slander. And it goes on to say that Graham is accusing not AT&T, but Verizon of, quote, extremely irresponsible, unquote, conduct for complying with the subpoena and said the company should have refused to turn over the records. Here's another quote from Graham saying, "They should have followed AT&T's example and declined to turn over the records because it is a violation of the speech and debate clause of the U.S. Constitution," unquote. And he goes on to say that it's a Watergate-worthy investigation. Graham also called for the formation of a Senate Select Committee to investigate the matter. He's calling it a fishing expedition against at least 10 Republican U.S. senators by special counsel Jack Smith. It's the biggest violation of separation of powers in the nation's history. And the driver of this outrageous conduct, he just says, is that it's a desire to stop President Donald Trump from winning the 2024 campaign for president. And in a separate press conference, Senator Cruz called for the immediate congressional action, including impeachment proceedings against Judge Boasberg. I like the sound of that. And he goes, "I am right now calling on the House of Representatives to impeach Judge Boasberg." And then it goes on. Legal analyst Mike Benz outlined 3 potential criminal charges that Attorney Pam Bondi, Attorney General, could actually bring against Judge Boasberg in connection with the Arctic Frost investigation. So he posted this on X as well. So here are the charges: deprivation of rights under color of law. They give the federal statute for allegedly depriving senators of their right to be notified of legal actions involving their official communications. Okay, that makes sense. The second one, obstruction of proceedings before Congress. They give another federal statute for allegedly preventing the Senate from exercising oversight or intervening in the subpoenas. And then lastly, conspiracy against rights, another federal statute listed for allegedly conspiring with the special counsel's office to conceal the subpoenas and avoid Senate challenge, because all these things could be challenged. And Benz goes on to say, this is the legal analyst saying that the charges could apply based on evidence that Boasberg knowingly concealed the subpoena's existence from senators that were affected. Captain Bartlett.
I think, I don't know what the law is about these things, but here's what I know. These weren't some street skells that their phone records are being subpoenaed. These are current sitting members of our federal government, elected federal officials. And when that judge said that the gag order, because the reason for the gag order would lead to witness tampering and destruction of evidence otherwise, that's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I hope they get this guy off the bench. If they can, get him off the bench. I'd also like to see soon some comprehensive report about what these people did. Because right now we're just hearing bits and pieces of it all. Give me a PDF document that says what had happened was, and then tell me about this. So as a citizen, I can read it top to bottom without having to find it other places. Let's see what these knuckleheads did. If there's probable cause, put them in jail.
You know, there's still declassifying documents, and it's still trickling out. I mean, we're not even close to being done yet, I don't think.
I don't get, all Trump or Pam Bondi has to say is declassify it, and it's over with. Just
yeah,
stop
but you
it.
know what? It's better, in my opinion, it's better this way. If you do a data dump, a lot's going to get lost, and it's going to get out there, and then it's going to disappear, and people are going to forget about it. But I mean, it's true. I mean, in the news cycle, you give people as much as they can handle. And you know, even if they release this whole report, it would have to be done in bullet points because you would get lost in it. It would be overwhelming if they at least did a timeline with bullet points.
Yeah, give me a timeline.
That would
Tell
be
me
helpful.
what happened. Yeah, because I keep seeing these headlines. These people did bad things to somebody. Explain it to me, and like you said, digestible form. Explain it to me so I can make an informed decision about who needs to go to jail.
But I think they're still finding things in trash bags and things that have been hidden. They still got whistleblowers coming forward and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
imagine if Trump hadn't won and if Bondi wasn't there, you'd never see this stuff ever. And that was the plan.
Commercial break, guys. I'll be right back. All right, guys. It's time to talk about our title sponsor, Gulls at Gulls.com. And as police officers, one thing we do really good, we love to buy gear. We love it. And when you throw the online option, it's like our choices are limitless. So here's what's really important here. I want to remind everybody, it's supporting the companies that actually support law enforcement. And I don't know of a company that does that better than Gulls at Gulls.com. I mean, even their motto is proud to serve those who serve, which of course they do in spectacular fashion. And not only that, they walk the talk by supporting dozens, and I mean dozens of focused organizations like this radio show. So when you're looking for gear, please support our title sponsor by going to Gulls at Gulls.com. And they're going to do you one better. For the loyal listeners of the show, they've got a radio code. It's radio15. It's a discount code. It'll get you 15% off of most purchases at Gulls.com. Go to Gulls.com today and use that radio15 code to get 15% off your next purchase. And hey, they've got gift cards. Hook up your family, friends, and loved ones for the new Gulls gift card, and they will be your new best friends. You can do all that. They pretty much have everything but guns and ammo at Gulls.com. Again, that is Gulls.com. All right, guys, we've got 2 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show. All right, Brett, are we going too fast for you? Do I need to slow it down? Are you good?
No, I am ready. I'm hyped up on medication, so let's
all right, I got the black rifle. Look at that. It is the Project Mango there. Can you read that? Project Mango, Black Rifle Energy. And this is courtesy of MVS. I got 2 cases in this from MVS in the last 2 weeks.
Let's talk about courtesy of Microtech. They provide us with some of their knives, and I've got the out the front model. Man, I'm liking it. Everybody I show this to is digging it. They want to get one. It's really nice.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
All right.
Microtech's it's a high-end company. And,
oh my gosh.
You can't find it's hard to find a better built knife.
Yeah, their stuff is solid, and it's got a window breaker on the opposite stand. It's got a real nice belt clip that you can reverse and put it on the side depending on how you want to carry it. In
addition to windows, you think it'll break glass too?
Well, that's the only glass I would be breaking is windows, because like a glass mug, I would have no reason to break that.
You're gonna break my head next, aren't you? Yeah. You're gonna love that.
That's made of ceramic.
Yeah. So, look, if you guys are watching the show, you know what? Why don't we do a Gulls gift card giveaway today? Brett, are you game for that?
Please, as long as I win.
Okay. If you guys are watching the show, especially on stream, I know we got Trey Borland on Facebook. We got Betty Dunn and a bunch of people. I need to get an email address from you, though. I got to have a way to get the digital one to you. All you got to do is type in the word Gulls, Galls, and your email address in order to win the digital Gulls gift card, as long as you haven't won in the last 90 days. So type in Gulls and your email address. If we get enough entries, we will go ahead and announce the winner during the third commercial break. We're still in the first one, going back to radio. Here we go. All right, guys, and welcome back to Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com. My name is Chip DeBlock, and I'm your host, and we're a group of law enforcement professionals to talk about today's news and issues from a law enforcement perspective. And we've got Captain Brett Bartlett on the show. Now, look, we've been talking about Pam Bondi and a legal expert telling her or saying how she could actually charge Judge Boasberg right now with 3 federal charges. I tell you, I would love to see that happen to this guy. I don't think many people deserve it better. And Brett, if you're ready, we can move on to the update article about the hot Grease. If that's and I'm not talking about Grease the movie. I know you're a big fan of Grease and Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta and all that stuff, but no, we're not. That's not what we're talking about, Brett. We're not talking about the grease in your hair because that's what you used to do. That's what maybe likely. I heard that can make your hair fall out.
It's almost wasted now.
I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. But hey, I tell you, the people on the radio and podcast who can't watch the video and see that Brett has no hair, that joke fell flat. But anyhow, at TampaFP.com, which stands for the Tampa Free Press, we got a roommate feud boils over, literally. Florida man uses hot grease as a weapon in an eviction threat. Sonia Macy, is the black female that just got shot by the white cop. They're trying to make a racial issue out of it. But she grabbed a pot of boiling water on the stove. Or let's at least say there could be some disagreement whether it was boiling or not, but it was extremely hot, let's say. Takes it off the stove, refuses to drop it. She tells the cops, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And then she ducks down behind the counter in her freaking kitchen. And the cops are on the other side of the counter. Well, they've already drawn down on her because when they hear the rebuke thing and she's got the hot pan of water, you got to be ready, right? So there's people being critical. Well, why didn't they vamoose and just turn around and run away? And one guy I talked to said, we're told you want to see the bad guy's hands at all times. I'm not going to turn my back and run out a door when she's getting a gun and going to blow me in the back with a shotgun or whatever. I'm just going to walk up to the counter and look at her freaking hands, and that's what the cops did. But the cop closest, she jumps up. And when you watch body cam number 2, she jumps up with that hot pan and appears to be in a throwing motion, and he shoots her. And she got shot in the head, and he had threatened to do that. There was a point in the video where he was telling his buddy not to triage it, not to go get the first aid kit or whatever. It's a head wound. And all I can say is that when you've seen as much death as Brett and I have in shootings and injuries, you know when you can save someone, and when you can't. You start hearing things like that gurgling and some other things, there's just something, just sometimes you just know if you've seen it enough. Anyhow, there are people that he got convicted for second-degree murder because a lot of people have an issue with this pot of boiling water. So we're going to use this as an example. And this just happened, guys, in a heated dispute over unwanted guests allegedly led to a Florida man. And again, here we are in Florida because we grew up in the projects, working the projects, Brett, where they had all this stuff. A Florida man to assault this roommate by throwing hot cooking grease on him, causing severe burns. And when I say severe, listen to this. William Clark, 54 years old, he's facing a charge of aggravated battery to cause bodily harm for the October 20th incident. The altercation started when Clark's frustration with his roommate allowing unauthorized guests to come into their home. He allegedly called it a drug zone. According to probable cause affidavit, Clark confronted the roommate or the victim by holding a pan of grease, and he was using it to fry ribs, and he issued an ultimatum. Either you leave or I'm going to make you leave. And when the victim refused to, Clark allegedly threw the steaming contents of the grease onto the roommate. The entire exchange was reportedly captured on the victim's cell phone as well. The victim suffered serious burns to his face, his neck, and his arm, and he had to be freaking airlifted to the freaking hospital. And he was admitted to the ICU burn unit. That's pretty serious, guys. I would say that definitely meets the lethal force threshold. Police found grease residue throughout the residence. Clark provided conflicting accounts to investigators. Our bad guy at one point claimed he threw the grease to defend himself, but then he admitted that he held the pan as a weapon. He also allegedly told police that he refilled the grease in case he had to use it on the victim again. Clark was arrested by the Tallahassee Police Department and booked into the Leon County Jail. He was granted a $10,000 bond with conditions, including wearing a GPS monitor, and he has to avoid the victim. He entered a plea of not guilty. There you go. Commentary, Brett Bartlett. We have almost 3 minutes.
First, what was he doing frying ribs?
Dude, it's the way they roll, man.
I don't, right there. And secondly, what happened to the ribs?
You never had fried pig's feet? Pickle, pig's
We're
feet.
talking ribs now.
Okay.
Ribs belong on the grill. They don't belong in the frying pan. It sounds to me like the guy, he just had his fill of this behavior, but doesn't mean he should be tossing hot grease at anybody, but he must have been terribly frustrated. But I should remember going into projects decades ago, and no matter what, it could be 32 degrees outside, but inside it was always hot.
Yeah.
And always smelled of grease.
Grease. You smell the grease.
Yep. And
You're
you
right.
could wipe your finger across the wall and it would raise up that residue.
The ceiling, the wall, it didn't matter.
Yep.
There were pots and pans. The kitchens were filthy.
Yep.
To this day, I can't eat unless I see where the food's being prepared at.
Yep.
I cannot go to like a potluck anywhere. Yep. I just can't do it because I know how I've seen how people live. So this is a cultural, and I know if people have been watching the show, I've been saying this so much. It's a cultural thing. It's usually Black women do this against their husbands or their boyfriends because they've cheated on them or they think that they've cheated on them.
I don't know.
Unusual. I don't know that I've ever had a call where a dude, but it is a cultural thing. The Black community, I'm telling you, they know this. They pass it on generation to generation. That's why we just saw this happen with the Sonia Macy. And I guarantee it didn't just pop into her head out of thin air. I mean, this is a cultural thing from generation to generation.
I tell you what, I'd rather take a bullet than hot grease fired off at me.
Yeah, water, grease, potash. Now, the difference with potash in the Black community, it turns their skin, it bleaches it permanently.
I've never heard of potash. What is that?
There is if you look it up, there's a scientific formulation for making potash, and there's a reason for it. It's not made but people do like tattoos and stuff with potash.
Oh, really?
It's back in the olden days, but Blacks found out that you can significantly scar somebody and permanently. Yeah. So whenever you went to the projects, and I don't know if I just worked in the projects more than you, but you would see guys walking around with just these. Their skin was white, and it was from potash. Someone had thrown potash on them and scarred them for life.
Well, my concern is it blinding me? I could live with a scar. Yeah. Man, you get blinded by that stuff being tossed in your face. So he went to jail. Everything good. Don't do that.
10 seconds, guys. Going back to commercial break. Here we go. All right, introducing Compliant Technologies at complianttechnologies.com, and they're committed to providing non-lethal solutions to help officers gain the upper hand safely and rapidly in a humane, low-ethics manner, utilizing their CD3, which stands for Conductive Distraction and De-escalation Technology. Their flagship product, we all know by now, is called the Glove. It's helped officers, I was going to say, tens of thousands of times, but now they're up to over 250,000 deployments with absolutely no injuries and no deaths. I mean, it's a crazy stat. And you heard me correctly, no injuries. They've actually achieved non-lethal status in an arena that predominantly can only offer less lethal results. And when it comes to weapons retention, transitioning to a sidearm or conductive energy weapon, the Glove at complianttechnologies.com, they virtually eliminated weapons confusion. So stay ahead of the game with Compliant Technologies and the revolutionary CD3 that hundreds of agencies have already turned to nationwide. And friends, take it from me, when it comes to safety, this is one of the most common sense, hands-on solutions that's ever come along. So go to complianttechnologies.com today and tell them that Chip sent you. Again, that is complianttechnologies.com. All right, guys, we've got 4 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show. And again, guys, we are going to be doing, hopefully, a Galls gift card giveaway today. I just need you guys to enter, especially if you're on Facebook. So if you haven't won in the last 90 days, all you have to do is type in the word Galls, that is GALLS, and enter in your email address. It's a digital card, which means that I get to email it to you, and you can get it right after the show's over with. So type in Galls in your email address in order to enter for that free $50 Galls gift card giveaway. And if you've never been to Galls at galls.com, check it out. I mentioned earlier, I just got a brand new pair of boots. I mean, I've just been wearing them around the house a little bit just to make sure that, I'm getting used to them and stuff. I tell you, the waterproof boots, I mean, it's good quality stuff. And then, of course, my Mission Made pants that I've got from the CEO, Mike Fadden. Spectacular, guys. Just good stuff. Even the pockets have got flaps over them to protect the zippers and stuff and the closures and stuff. Really just first class stuff. So, all right, Brett, how are we looking so far? We got 3 minutes before we come back to commercial break. So
looking good. I like to wear a Merrill brand. I've purchased them from Galls before. Merrill.
Galls has Merrill?
Yeah, and they They're very comfortable for me, and they're a little pricey, other than what you can buy at Walmart, but they're very, very good stuff. You can't find it at Gauls, you don't need to be finding it.
I agree. And they've got everything. They normally don't make. They normally carry what other people make, but that's why the Mission Made pants. I was so surprised to see that they were making those, and they're killing it. I mean, they're knocking it out of the park, you know. And even the Secret Service agent Rich Staropoli got a pair, and he won't shut up about them either. So in fact, he was just bragging about them. You know, I ended up ordering my pair when I got the brace off my knee, and I could actually put pants back on again. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, you know, I found as I got older, you need to spend money on good footwear, because to support all this,
is that it?
You need something substantial down there.
All right, so I'm just typing the. Don't forget, guys, about the contest. Type in Gauls in your email address in order to win if you haven't won in the last 90 days. So
Hiram just posted. Very good.
Oh, Hiram entered the contest. All right, good deal. And I'm going to post that for our Rumble people as well. MBS is over there. Give the glove to Patty and let her zap. And he wants her to zapper me. See, I can't go to the SHOT Show and be there with the compliant technologies and not get zapped. It's going to happen.
It's more of a lifestyle choice, really, though, Chip.
By popular demand, I'm not going to be able to get away from it. And I just wonder who's going to do the zapping. Is it going to be you? Is it going to be Dan Dela Cruz? Maybe it's going to be Jeff Nicholas, you know, the CEO of the company. It could end up being Scott Steyer, you know, our buddy from Aero Precision.
I just don't want to have to name the video. I didn't see that coming.
Well, you know, I am looking for male diapers before we go to the SHOT Show. I will be bringing, you know,
for me too, because if
me.
you go down, I'm going to wet my pants.
They said no one's ever done it before.
I could do that.
But of course, I'm assuming I'm going to be the first. So
no, ain't no way, brother.
So
we saw that big guy go down last year, and he was a big guy. He didn't even hesitate. Down he went.
Remember that little Mexican dude that jumped right back up after he went down?
Yeah.
The Mexican national? Remember that?
Yeah. Because you yelled La Migre. And
yeah, something like that. Yeah. I only know a few Spanish words.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear them?
How about this? Pone sus manos arriba de la cabeza y entrecruce los dedos. Put your hands on top of your head and interlace your fingers. That's all I remember.
Hey, that's pretty good. All right, 5 seconds. Back to radio. Here we go, guys. All right, guys, welcome back. Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com, the law enforcement talk show. My name is Chip the Block, and I'm your host. We're joined by Captain Brett Bartlett. And hey, man, we've been having a great show. We're talking about how Pam Bondi can charge Judge Boasberg federally and get him off that bench. And then we were talking about in Tallahassee, of all places in Florida, a black male that threw hot grease on another guy that was a roommate that was letting people in that he didn't want them let in and stuff. And usually it's a woman thing. So I'm surprised that a dude did it, but it's a cultural thing, you know. So and then we got a cop that goes lethal for a woman trying to do something almost the identical thing to him, you know, like the guy we talked about a second ago had to get airlifted to the hospital and he's in the ICU, you know, and and they arrest a cop and charge him and send him to prison for, you know, second-degree murder. They haven't come up with the sentencing on him yet. Our next one, if you're ready to roll on to the next story that has a video component, Brett, at rumble.com, our favorite law enforcement video channel called This Is Butter, we have a dash cam shows a skateboarder being struck and killed by an LAPD vehicle. Guys, just going to cover this as a reminder. Look, you know, you've always got to be on your A game. And look, we love chases, we love pursuits. And it's exciting. Your adrenaline's rolling, you know, and you've got, you know, you're multitasking, you know, radio sirens, and you're having to be aware of your surroundings and predict things and time things and speed and everything. So things can always go wrong. So, and I don't know that we could have prevented what happened. The only thing that doesn't really add up to me is the call and running code to this call, but there's some things I don't know about how they do at LAPD, and it looks like the department's backing them. But in Highland Park, California, a skateboarder named Geraldo Estrada ended up being struck and killed by a LA Police Department cruiser in Highland Park on Friday night. An LAPD spokesperson said that at 7:17 p.m., officers were responding with their lights and sirens, and they were going to a perimeter for a parolee at large. And so that's the call. Police said the cruiser was entering the center median to navigate through traffic, and it was going at a pretty good clip when they called him a skateboarding pedestrian in the middle of the street, in the middle of the median area, who was nearby, and they struck him. The pedestrian, only identified as a man in his late 20s or early 30s, was ejected from a skateboard. He landed on the street under another car and was pronounced dead at the scene. And this is one of those ones that where there was nothing they could do. If you and just when I'm just looking here, there's a slow motion of the impact and everything. It just lets you know, the conflicting information on this thing is that they say that it was a parolee at large, so a perimeter for a parolee at large. But when you listen to the audio, it says that it was for a perimeter for felony warrant suspects. So they were a guy was wanted for a felony warrant, and they were setting up a perimeter, but running code for that. Unless there's more, maybe there's more information that we just don't know, Brett, but it just didn't make sense to me. What do you think, Brett?
Well, here's the thing, and it all depends on what those laws are in that state, when the policies are in that agency. But, every time you exceed the speed limit, you got to be asking yourself, is it worth it if I kill somebody? We used to say this, we're talking about chase. That's a great chase till you killed my grandmother. Yeah. Was it worth it? You knew who the guy was. You can find the guy tomorrow. Was it worth it? Most of the time, The answer is no. Plus, there's this. I don't know about that state, but officers in Florida, they don't get a lot of driver training.
Every 3 years at best.
Yeah, and one of my instructors years ago said, if you're past 70 miles an hour, you're not driving it, you're aiming it.
Yeah.
But what do? And they used to ask us, why do cops drive fast? And the answer is because it's fun.
I was waiting for the punchline, but yeah.
No, that's it, because it's fun.
Yeah.
But and again, we could argue that the kid shouldn't have been on the skateboard in the middle of the street. But how's that gonna, does that gonna make his parents feel better about the whole thing? Yeah. And when they find out the cops were only going to that, what you described as going to help on how's that gonna help the parents, and how's that gonna help the officers sleep at night?
And there's going to be some issues with those officers. I mean, just by watching the dash cam and both body cams.
Yep.
Well, Brett's completely right. Once you go over 70 or maybe even a little less, you're aiming it. And you're right. These guys, they saw what was getting ready to happen, and there wasn't a thing they could do about it.
They were driving in the opposite lane. They were driving in the middle. Again, if the law allows it in that state, policies, right on. But man, the question is, when I exceed the speed limit, what should be in your mind is, if I kill somebody's grandmother, was it worth it?
Yeah. So good food for thought, guys. Sad story, and it's sad for the cops too, because they're going to have to live. They're going to have to live with this. And but moving along, rumble.com. We're still at This Is Butter's channel. Hillsborough deputy. This is in our neck of the woods. I mean, Brett technically lives in a different county now, but very close to Hillsborough County. Tampa, where I'm at and where Brett and I worked at, the Tampa Police Department, it is within Hillsborough County. So we have a Hillsborough County deputy fatally shoots a helmet-wearing suspect in the head who was holding a child hostage. And guys, there's some other information about this bad guy that's going to show you how really bad of a guy he was, and why the deputy had to do a headshot. Brandon, Florida. God bless Brandon. On Sunday afternoon, deputies responded to a domestic violence incident involving a 7-year-old. Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office says that the suspect, Mario Camacho, was armed with a knife and was choking the child at a home. Now, deputies, they locate Camacho in a back bedroom. That's our bad guy, after hearing the child screaming for help. And there's a body cam going. So you hear the child, they're trying to get the guy to send the child out, but then they have to force the way in the doorway when they hear the child screaming. Camacho refuses to let go of the child. And when the door opens partially, there's some obstructions and stuff, but you finally get a view of the bad guy wearing a motorcycle helmet of all things. And he's got 2 ballistic vests on that have what are the armor plates on them. Crap. And he's choking the child. He's got a knife on him, and deputy does a single headshot. Boom, done. They take him to the hospital where he's pronounced dead. Child is, thank God, the most important thing, safely rescued. And the chief deputy, Joseph Marr, said that the Camacho, the bad guy, was wearing that motorcycle helmet and 2 ballistic vests with armored plates. That deputy didn't really hesitate. I mean, I was pretty impressed with what I saw, and just kind of looking at my show notes and stuff. A single shot is fired by a left-handed deputy. I noticed those little left-handed things. He's left-handed into the suspect's head, despite the fact he's wearing that motorcycle helmet, and it did the trick. Captain Brett.
Yeah, and I'm glad he did. What a nightmare scenario! This kid's about to be killed by a relative of all things with a knife. And what I liked about this was the deputy fired the one shot. It had to be a precise shot because his center mass shot wasn't the full body. It was a very, very small area. So he fired the one hit. One thing I would ask him is, as before he went through the door, he was yelling, "Make yourself known." That's not an alpha. That's not an alpha command. That can be very confusing. And the bad guy can be thinking, "What are you talking about? Make yourself known." It should have been an alpha command. Come out of the room, come out of the room, or something other than make yourself known. Now, here's what I did notice. That deputy's gun had a laser on it, which is pretty unusual even now in police work. You don't see lasers on gun, but I noticed when he went through, I saw a green dot on something in the room. And I saw, as he brought the gun up to fire at the bad guy's noggin, I saw some reflection in the visor or off the helmet. And good for him for firing that headshot. He had to do it. There was nothing else he could do. There was no more talking to be done. He fired the shot and he hit. He put it right in that other guy's dome. And according to the book that I've read, there's only 3 places you can make a bad guy fall down: shoot him between the eyes, shoot him in the heart, but then he's got 15 seconds of oxygenated blood. He can fight you, or shoot him in his undercarriage, break bones where he physically can't hold his weight. Okay. And so he opted, because that's all he could see. He could see the guy's dome, and good for him. But I just wonder about the make yourself known. I don't understand that part of it.
Yeah, I had some difficulty understanding the deputy. It was I almost wondered whether he was where he came from, and the verbiage he used didn't make sense to me. You're right. It wasn't police lingo. And then the note, what you noticed with the gun and stuff. I just don't know.
It's just, if you're going to give a command, make it an alpha command, which means do this, do something. Not a beta command, which is make yourself known, or don't make me shoot you, or you don't want to do this.
Open the door, send the child out.
Open the door, let go of the child, and then stop talking. How many, and we're going to talk about another one, I think, pretty soon, about repeated commands are just absolutely useless. But I'm glad the deputy did it. I feel sorry for the family who's going to have to endure this, for the dead brother and the brother that was being held hostage. They've got some work to do. Well,
I mean, the guys that make the motorcycle helmets aren't going to be able to say they're bullet resistant anymore. So, that argument's out of that's gone.
Well, I think probably they did a posthumous evaluation of the dead guy, and I think what they found out was, and this is not scientific, but here it is: his cheese has slid off of his cracker.
Is that right? All right, we got to go to commercial break. Stick with us, guys. All right, guys, it's time to talk about GunLearn at gunlearn.com. As law enforcement officers, we deal with guns and we deal with ammunition every day. It's what we don't know about them that gets us in the trouble: injuries, civil lawsuits, accidental discharges, misidentifications, lost prosecutions, and disciplinary issues. But gunlearn.com, they have your back. You can quickly become extremely firearm knowledgeable by simply learning 14 training modules from the convenience of your home or your office, or by attending a live seminar at gunlearn.com. You can also become a safe, accurate, and competent certified firearm specialists like our very own Captain Brett Bartlett and also attorney Ken Apianco. Now, the course has had huge success in raising the bar of firearm knowledge, and GunLearn has been a trusted source since way back in 2011 by gun manufacturers, federal agencies, forensic organizations, and even police departments nationwide. Now, the founder, Daniel Kelly, has got a deal for you if you have your own agency. If you're chief or sheriff, you can host a seminar for absolutely no cost. It's an amazing opportunity. You can go to gunlearn.com to get more information. Again, that is gunlearn.com. StenE221rr.com. All right, guys, 2 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show. So, Brett, let us see if we have enough entries for the $50 Goals gift card giveaway.
I saw on my feed, I saw one that was Hiram.
Well, I've seen,
but you have other feeds. I don't see all of them.
Yep. And I know we've got Betty Dunn and Hiram, and I'm over here at Rumble, at Rumble, where we've got our guys over there too, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. So we're going to do the drum roll, please, and let's figure out who our winner is going to be. And it looks like it's going to be Hiram.
All right, Catlin.
Hiram, congratulations.
Hiram Catlin, probably, but I could be wrong. Congratulations,
right.
Hiram. Thanks for being here with us.
Congratulations. So we got the email address, we got the everything looks good. So at the end of the show, I will get that off to you. So congratulations, and wow, what a great week, in November, So yeah.
And Hiram, if you're still listening, message me back and tell me if you're a LEO right now, because I think you are.
Yeah, I'd like to know where you're at.
Yeah, I can I can read his email address. I'm not going to say it on the air, but I can read it.
If he's a Leo, I think he's an educated Leo, and you know why I think that?
It's college-amated.
College-amated? Yeah, because he got a little EDU after his email address. So yeah.
I had a little EDU once, but the doctor fixed it.
Yeah, that was with the No, never mind. I'm not
STD or something.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, and so Betty Dunn is wanting to know whether we're having like comedy hour here. So apparently
No, this is
we
very
are.
serious stuff, Betty.
Brett and I don't get to spend enough time with each other, so it usually happens on the show.
Very serious stuff.
Magic moments. All right, going back to satellite. Here we go. All right, guys, welcome back. Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com, the law enforcement talk show. My name is Chip DeBlock, and I'm your host. We're joined by co-host Brett Bartlett. And so thanks very much for being on the show, guys. And Brett, can you announce our winner, please, for the $50 Goals gift card giveaway that we just had?
Hiram won. I hope I'm saying that right. Hiram. Congratulations, sir. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure that when you put your stuff in, put your name in Goals. Brett has 1 T. Make sure you put that in there.
Yeah. Hey, so if he had a business and if he was looking for workers to come work for him, what would that process be?
I don't understand.
Would Hiram be hiring?
Oh, stop it.
I'm just asking a question.
Are you still on pain meds?
Don't. All right, here, moving along. Hey, is there anything about the last story that you want to go to, or do you want to? We got 20 Mississippi officers that we can talk about. And then we can also talk about that video that you wanted to add to the NYPD officers as well.
Here's what we're going to talk about: the Mississippi officers. They need to go to jail. Period. Next story. They broke the law.
All right. Well, let me just mention it then. It is kind of wild. 20 of them. RVMnews.com. 20 Mississippi officers indicted for allegedly helping the Mexican drug cartel. Are you serious? And reading some of the things that they did, federal prosecutors have announced the indictment and arrest of 20 people, most of them current or former law enforcement officers in the Mississippi Delta region for allegedly conspiring with Mexican drug cartels to smuggle narcotics to the U.S. And this was reported by the Gateway Pundit. Now, we have a U.S. attorney involved, Clay Joyner, for the Northern District of Mississippi. He made this announcement. There was a press conference. A monumental betrayal of public trust, they said. We're here today to talk about some incredibly serious allegations that mark a monumental betrayal of the trust. And so they've indicted these 20 individuals, and it says they generally allege the taking of bribes to attempt to aid and abet drug trafficking, as well as associated crimes. And according to the federal documents, the indictment stemmed from a multi-year FBI operation. It targeted widespread corruption among law enforcement officers that were in the region. Of the 20 individuals charged, 14 of them were current or former law enforcement officers, and 6 were civilian accomplices. It goes on to say, and this would have been a fun operation to be part of, Brett. Investigators allege the defendants accepted bribes ranging from 20 grand to 37 grand in exchange for providing protection to what they believe were large shipments of illegal narcotics being transported through the Mississippi Delta. The traffickers they assisted were actually undercover FBI agents. You got to love that. Joyner said the officers and their co-conspirators participated in a network of corruption that reached across multiple counties in Mississippi and into Tennessee. So they got that multi-state nexus going on. I mean, all we need to do is get some wire fraud, and these guys are toast, right?
You know, I don't think. Well, I don't understand how these cops think they're going to get away with it. Like they're the first people who've ever invented this kind of shenanigan they were pulling. Now,
Yeah.
I did watch a video of the press release, and I think it was the FBI guy talking. He said all these names, but he said since the release has gone out, several names, and he mentioned them by name, have been taken off the indictment list. I just got to wonder. Did somebody roll? Somebody roll over? Yeah, but yeah, you can't break law. You can't help the Mexican cartels, fellas. In case you missed that in the academy, if you were in the bathroom when they were talking about don't work with the cartels, don't work with the cartels. You go to jail. You get everything you deserve.
Now there are naysayers that are going to hear this. Well, number one, guys, this is a law enforcement talk show. We don't have to cover this news. We get to pick and choose what we talk about. But we're doing it on the up and up. We're trying to be transparent. And now there's people that are going to say, well, that's just systemic issues with law enforcement stuff. Well, guess what? We're covering this because the system works. What happened? We had bad cops identified. Nobody hates a bad cop worse than a good cop, and they make us all look bad. And so, yeah, there are 20 individuals. Well, they said what, 14 out of the 20, I think, were either active or retired Leos or former Leos. Yeah, like Fred said, put these guys away, throw the key away. Yeah, there is no love lost, and yeah, we hate these guys. Let these guys go away for the rest of their lives. But the system works, guys, and the FBI did a jam-up job on this. So yeah,
they're not going to get away with it. If anybody's listening, any cops out there thinking about it, just don't do it, because you're going to get found out. You're going to go to jail. You're going to ruin not only your life, your family's life, your kid's life. What an idiot these people were.
These things are so rare. You got to figure that there are close to 1 million active duty cops at any given time, 750, 800,000 or more. This is the drop in the bucket. This is not even 10%. It's not even 1% of the cops that are out there. It's a very, very small statistic of bad cops. Mm-hmm. But like I said, the system works by and large about identifying these bad guys. They eventually do something stupid like this and they get caught. So I love it. You ready to go to New York?
Yeah, did I ever tell you the time I made a bribery arrest back in the day?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, we were investigating a Asian massage place on Kennedy Boulevard, and we made an arrest. And as we were leading, I say Mama-san, it's not Mama-san, it was Korean. I'm sure there's different. As we're leading Mama-san out, she turns to me because she can see I'm leading all this whole thing, and she goes, "You come back tomorrow, I'll make a donation." I said, "Oh, here we go." So I went back the next day with camera and a microphone. She laid out a couple of grand wrapped right from the bank, right in front of me on camera. And Jimmy, I don't remember, Jimmy's in the van. I looked outside, the van's rocking. He's laughing so hard. So we let that go about twice. And Jane says, "Go put her in jail." So I put her in jail. So in the last 30 years or so, I'm like the only guy that made a bribery arrest. Yeah.
Well, we had those, people we had that solicitor that was working they had the Police Athletic League publication, and they were having strip clubs and lingerie shops donate money.
Asian massage advertising.
And he's telling them, "I'm not going to let, Chip and Brett come by and do their operations." And remember our little undercover sting that we did?
Yeah, what a knucklehead.
Where he was telling us that he was going to give us information on Chip and Brett's operations, and he's talking to Chip and Brett.
And the parents of the kids were getting this magazine, wondering, why are there Korean or Asian massage ads in the back of this magazine? It was so obvious.
It was so bizarre.
Knucklehead.
And so yeah. All right. So moving along.
All right.
Rumble.com. This is Butter. 28-year-old man shot and killed by NYPD officers after refusing to drop a loaded gun. I don't know that it matters whether it's loaded or not, but we're in Brooklyn, New York. So NYPD is investigating this police-involved shooting. It left one guy, Royston Botchus, dead in Brooklyn on Sunday morning. He should have been in church. The deadly shooting happened just after 9 o'clock in the morning in Canarsie. According to NYPD, 6 officers, that's a lot, responded to the scene after a 27-year-old woman reported a guy harassing her at her door. She told the 911 dispatchers that she knew him and that she was actively seeking an order of protection against him. So when the cops get there, they see this 28-year-old matching the description, leaving the building. They approach him. He flees. They pursue him on foot. And eventually they encounter him. He's got a firearm in his hand. Now, the officers they're ordering the guy numerous times to put the weapon down. He doesn't do it. Eventually, they shoot him. After repeated warnings, they're giving him to drop the weapon. Doesn't comply, and of course, he ended up being shot in the chest and stuff. And he ended up dying. They have a zoom in slow motion of this thing too. We got about a well, I put my little note here. The rest of the body cam's not worth watching unless you like to watch a grown man scream, because there was a lot of screaming, afterwards. Captain Brett.
This is a classic. I need to shoot the bad guy. It was obvious he had a gun. Obviously, he was threatening the officers in the neighborhood. But one of the officers, I think the lieutenant, yelled, and I counted 9 times, "Drop it." If you see a gun and you yell, "Drop it," and they don't drop it, the next thing you need to hear is a shot being fired. Because what if the bad guy laying there dying had said, "If you'd have yelled, 'Drop it,' 10 times, I would have dropped the gun. You just didn't yell it enough." It makes no sense. But we get in this called a goofy loop. You start saying the same thing. Oh, that's the name of a goofy loop. Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. You're in a loop, and you got to get out of it. But he fired a good shot. He fired the one shot because it was some distance away. Bad guy fell down. It was over with. So good shoot. I just don't understand the language or the verbiage or why we keep repeating commands that don't need to be repeated.
Are you going to copyright that goofy loop?
No, it's already out there.
That's
what they call it. It's called the goofy loop.
Oh, so you're being serious?
No, very serious. These cops get in this repetition: drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun, drop, and then they yell, "Drop the effing gun," because apparently that matters. Drop the gun, drop the gun. Show me your hand, show me your hand, show me your hand, show me your hands. What? That's a goofy loop. Their brain can't do anything else at that particular moment.
Oh my gosh. Wow. All right. Another fantastic show. Captain Brett Bartlett, thank you so much for being here and adding enlightenment, because of course you have 32 years of exemplary law enforcement experience from Tampa Police Department. Exemplary, yeah. I had to practice that word. I had a little trouble saying that with the energy drink sometimes, but I've been practicing that word, and I think I've got it down now.
Don't ask my old superiors about the exemplary. They might have another name for it.
Maybe they might. So, hey, I do want to mention the Wounded Blue, the woundedblue.org. Lieutenant Randy Sutton's 501c3, helping cops out in a world of hurt that are suffering from things like PTSD and other issues. You can go to woundedblue.org to get more information. And of course, I support them monthly. I encourage you guys to consider doing the same. The woundedblue.org. And Brett, you've also got Exemplar Defense Solutions at exemplardefense.com too. So,
yep. Private detective work and firearms training mostly.
Love it. Shout out to galls.com, complianttechnologies.com, gunlearn.com, and Medicare.live, safeway recruiting, and tubells.com. And we'll look for you guys back tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern. We're going to keep this thing going for the next minute and a half just to keep our satellite radio people happy. But again, that is galls.com, complianttechnologies.com, aeroprecisionusa.com, gunlearn.com, on Medicare.live, safeguardrecruiting.com, tubells.com, fisherlandobass.com. Go hook up with Zach, do that bass fishing charter, or do the alligator hunting. And dude, guys, take pictures if you do that, or guys, if you go to Disney and you go with the kids to Disney and you send the wife out to do the alligator hunting, please send me a video. Please have her take a video, because I if you talk her into doing that in place of you, we want video evidence. It won't be used against you in court, I promise. There you go. Final words for our listening audience, Brett.
Have a great day in Florida. It's down to 90 degrees, so we're celebrating the cool season.
I love it. And we are, hey, we want to hook up with you guys at SHOT Show. So if you're going to the SHOT Show, drop us a line. Let us know that you're going to be there January 20th through 23rd. That's Tuesday through Friday. Brett and I are going to be leaving earlier on Friday because we love our wives. We want to get home to the wives, and we want to go out and enjoy the weekend. But SHOT Show, let us know so we can hook up. All right, guys. Thanks, streamers, for watching the show. Take care, MVS. Thanks for everything. I got to send off a Galls gift card. So